Hey beautiful people, and welcome back to my YouTube channel, A Moment with Monica. I'm so excited to be back with another word, and as you guys can see by the title, we are going to get into this word. You shall recover it all. Alright, so please excuse me like going super fast in the introduction, but I want to dive into the word. I've been on a teacher break. Okay, I've been on vacation, so that's kind of why I haven't come on here and done videos, create content. I decided it was important to take a little rest, a break, and God was also instructing me to do the same. But I am back with some content, so I'm excited to be back, and I'm just gonna jump into the word because I believe this is an on-time word for somebody. You shall recover it all. I believe, even as myself, have been going through such a season of warfare since January, honestly, since the end of January up until even now, warfare back to back to back. And learning how to withstand the warfare, still show up and do what you have to do is such a tough thing. But then even tougher is losing things in the warfare, things that you thought that you wouldn't lose, but that God allowed you to lose. And I hear God saying to many of us, as July has begun, happy new month, he's saying you shall recover it all. The other day I was in prayer with the Lord, and I went into prayer and fasting, and I said, God, these are the things that you told me to give up to you. And I sacrificed it, I gave it up, I allowed it to fail, to just be there at your feet. And I said, okay, God, I want to know, do you want me to recover it? Do you want me to take back what the enemy stole from me? Do you want me to go back and try again? Do you want me to begin again, right? Do you want me to continue and then rewrite this story, but this time your way? Let me know what you want me to do, because I don't want to move and go forward without you. And so another reason that I've been taking a step back is evaluating my life and saying, okay, God, what can stay in the things that I lost? In the things that I lost, what do I retrieve back, or what do I just leave behind, right? And so I thought about David in 1 Samuel chapter 30. So David is on the run, and he is hiding from Saul and his men. But even in the midst of the warfare, even in his hiding, David is God's chosen. David is God's beloved. And that's over you today. You are God's chosen one. You are God's beloved. God sees you, hears you, knows you, loves you, and he has his eyes on you even in the midst of the storm. And so David is on the run, and he's trying to hide from Saul, but then of course he gets in trouble with the Amalekites. And the Amalekites want to come after David and David's men. And so while David and his men are out, they attack David's and his men, their women and children. And so David comes back, and his men that he's leading like over 600 men, right, on the run, and he's still leading. He's still God's chosen. And so David's like, God, what do we do? Like, what do we do? Like, should we recover it? What should we do? What's gonna happen? And God gives David permission to recover what the enemy stole from him. And so I want to speak that over you, that you shall recover what the enemy stole from you. You shall recover every single thing that God told you you are going to recover. It's such an on-time word because so many of us are in the last end, and we want to give up, and we want to throw in the towel, and we want to say, God, I'm done. I've been fighting this for too long. I've been going through this for what seems like forever. It seems like I can't win on the left or on the right. And God is saying, if you would just be still, if you would just wait a couple of more days, if you would just trust me, I promise you I'm gonna show up. And that was what God was saying to me the other week as I stood in prayer and fasted. I'm like, okay, God, do I keep going? Will I recover it? Or do you want me to let it go? Because I'm okay with either. Like I had gotten to the point, I'm like, God, I'm okay with either choice. Like whatever you want me to do, I just can't move forward unless I hear a word from you. And the Lord said, daughter, you shall recover it all. And so let me go into 1 Samuel chapter 30, verse 1, and I'm gonna stop at verse 8. So now it happened when David and his men came to Ziklag on the third day that the Amalekites had invaded the south in Ziklag, attacked Ziklag and burned it with fire, and had taken captive the woman and those who were there from small to great. They did not kill anyone, but carried them away and went their way. So David and his men came to the city, and there it was, burned with fire. And their wives, their sons, and their daughters had been taken captive. Then David and the people who were with him lifted up their voices and wept until they had no more power to weep. And David's two wives, Anaham the Jezreelites, and Abigail, the widow of Nabal the Carmelite, had been taken captive. Now David was greatly distressed, for the people spoke of stoning him, because the soul of all the people were grieved, every man for his sons and daughters. But David strengthened himself in the Lord his God. And that's a word for you, because in the midst of the storm, in the midst of the warfare, it's like, okay, God, I got people on this side disagreeing with what I'm doing. These people feel some type of way about me. This is what's going on. I'm already in the fire and I got more things happening. What's going on? But David strengthened himself in the Lord. And I pray that you would strengthen yourself in the Lord through prayer, through fasting, through speaking and declaring over yourself that you shall see a turnaround. Verse 7, then David said to Abiathar the priest, Amalekite's son, please bring the ephod here to me. And Abiathar brought the ephod to David. So David inquired of the Lord, saying, so he prepared himself, saying, shall I pursue this troop? Shall I overtake them? Verse 8, and he answered him, God answered him, pursue, for you shall surely overtake them, and without fail recover all. All right, so pursue, for you shall surely overtake them, and without fail recover all. And that's the word for you today. You shall surely overtake what the enemy stole from you. You shall recover every single thing that God said you should recover. Everything the enemy stole from you, whether it was last year, because there were so many of us in the wilderness even last year, and some things were taken, and we came into this year grieving. God, what do I do? Should I just let it be? I don't know, God. Should I continue? What do I do? And God was silent for some time, but God is saying you shall recover it all. God had to check your heart. You see, David prepared himself by wearing the ephod and putting it on, preparing himself, coming sanctified before God, coming with a heart of humility. God, what should I do? David was okay with hearing whatever answer. And this is for you to check your heart. Are you okay with hearing whatever answer the Lord has to say? If he says, no, you're not going to get that job back, I got something better, are you okay with it? If he says, no, you're not going to get that business, but here's something else, are you okay with it? David was humble. David said, you know what, I'm okay with either way, but let me know what I need to do, because I can't move forward. And that's what it is, because when you have lost so much and you're in a season of grieving, you're like, God, what do I do? Do I move on and keep going? Or should I take back what was stolen from me? And sometimes God will allow the enemy to take things. He will allow the enemy to come in, and he will allow us to be tested like he did with Job. Read the book of Job, right? Like he did with Job, because God is like, no, my son and my daughter, they're going to come through. They're going to trust me. They're going to abide in me. They're not going to be afraid. They got this. And so in the test, in the storm, we will lose some things along the way. Jobs, finances, businesses, maybe ministry, whatever it is. And God is saying, okay, will you trust me? Will you have faith in me even as these things are lost? Or will you be angry and turn away from me? And so that's why it's so important that when we go to God and say, God, will I recover it? Or should I just let it be? And you get the answer, and you come with humility to get the right answer from God. And I believe God answered David because David was so humble. And I believe God answered me because I came to him with humility. And I said, God, I'm laying down my plate. I'm laying down, my expectations and what I want and desire. I just need to move forward. And so many of us, even from last year coming into this year, there's been warfare, there's been grief, there's been disappointment, but I hear God saying, you shall recover it all. You're gonna get it back, and it's gonna be better. And not only that, he says, and I will restore to you the years that the locust hath eaten, the cankerworm and the caterpillar and the palmer worm, my great army which I sent among you. So what was lost, you will take back. He will enlarge your tent as well. And I want to go to Isaiah 6. So in Isaiah, the people of God is disappointed with the Israelites, right? He's disappointed because they're not listening to him. They're serving their idols. They've forgotten the miracles, signs, and wonders that he has done. And so many of us have found ourselves, like the Israelites. We either worship the business too much, worship the ministry too much, worship the job too much, worship the finances, worship the material things that God gave us. Maybe it was, maybe you're dating and you're worshiping this guy and you're not, or this woman, and you're not trusting God, or you're trusting God but you're giving God little of your time because you're so focused on this person. There are so many times that God will bless us, but we'll take the blessing and we'll idolize it. And the Israelites are an idolization. Everything that God has blessed them with, they have come to worship more than they worship the one and true living God. They make the material things, they make the blessings their God. And so God has to deal with them. And so he tells Isaiah, go and prophesy about what's to come, because they're going to be taken captive. They're going to go into exile. I'm going to have the king of Babylon take them, and they're going to go to exile. But this is what stood out to me, because God always has mercy. And verse 11 through 13 is what I'm going to read. And Isaiah's like, then I said, for how long, Lord? And he answered, until the cities lie ruined and without inhabitant, until the houses are left deserted and the fields ruined and ravaged, until the Lord has sent everyone far away and the land is utterly forsaken. And though a tenth remains in the land, it will again be laid waste. But as the terebinth and oak leave stumps when they are cut down, he's talking about the trees, as they leave stumps when they are cut down, so the holy seed will be the stump in the land. So God is saying, no worries, I'm gonna clear it out. I'm gonna allow it to be broken. I'm gonna allow the people to be cut down from their high places. I'm gonna remove the wealth and the prosperity from the land. But no worries, as these things are coming and they're cutting down and the land lay waste, my holy seed will be stumped in the land, because when they come back, it's gonna be different. When they come back, this is gonna be built on God. And it stood out to me because we have lost things, right? We have lost things, we have lost relationships, we have lost people. Some of us have been cut down from the things that we thought, okay, God, you told me to do it, I'm doing it. And God is like, let it go, let it go. Let it go. And we thought it was forever, but God was testing us. And some of us were disobedient. We did go into idolization. We did put our trust in men more than God. We did desire the approval of men more than God. And God is like, listen, I have grace and I have mercy, because this time I'm going to build it. This time it's going to be the holy seed in the ground. This time it's going to be me, and I'm going to get the glory. And I believe if you allow God this time to be the director, to be the CEO, to be the one and only, to be the leader and the king of your heart, and everything that you do, I believe everything that you lost that he's telling you to recover, you will have it 10 times better. It is going to be fruitful. It is going to multiply. It is going to grow. It is going to be beyond your eyes, beyond ears have seen, eyes have seen, ears have heard. It is going to be beyond that, because this time you're building it with God. This time is his seed. And so I just wanted to share that word with you. It's kind of just a prophetic word that the Lord laid upon my heart, and a word of hope to those who have lost so much. God says, you shall recover it all. And so praise be to God. I really wanted to share this word. I'm about to go and celebrate some times with my family, because tomorrow is the 4th of July, so I'm about to be out. And so I woke up and I was like, oh my gosh, I gotta get myself together. I look so sleepy because I had 6 a.m. prayer. To God be the glory. My mentor has called me to lead 6 a.m. prayer for our mentorship group, and every Monday it's at 6 a.m. And so I was just so exhausted because I could not get any sleep. And I told God at 4 a.m., please, if I could get an hour said if I could get an hour. And he gave me an hour. But I was so exhausted after prayer. I went back to sleep and I was like, oh, I gotta wake up. I gotta record. I gotta get myself together because I'm gonna be out. So I definitely wanted to share this word with you all. You shall recover it all. I'm excited to be back. And I kind of give you guys more of an update and everything. Your girl's on vacation. Your girl's on vacation. I'll give you more of an update and all of that good stuff next week on our next video. But have a blessed and awesome week. Take this word and pray about it. Don't just listen and be like, oh, it's for me. Like, pray about it. What is it that you are believing God for to restore unto you? What is it that you are believing in God for to recover? What have you lost? And you have to really ask yourself, where did I go wrong? And where did I not trust God and allow his hands to guide me? And so this time God can order your steps. Remember, this is all about God's glory, but he wants you to recover it all, but you have to follow his strategic plan. His plan for me to recover it all is different than what it is for you. And so be in prayer, be in fasting. I believe the best is yet to come. Like my church always says, my pastor always says this, the best is yet to come. So I believe the best is yet to come, and God is doing amazing things. There's something about July and the rest of the year. So hold on to that word, believe it, trust God, seek his face, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.